Hi guys, how is everyone? I hope you all are doing well. So, welcome back to your English class. Today we will be doing No Ordinary Soldier, okay? And our topic for today is elements of realistic fiction. Now, I don't know if you remember, we discussed very briefly what is realistic fiction in the previous class, okay? So, without wasting lots of time, let's go directly to it. So, realistic fiction, okay, when we talk about realistic fiction, remember that it involves stories with characters and settings, okay, that are true to life and events that could really happen, okay. So, this means, okay, that the stories are, okay, made up, okay, but you should be able to make a connection with the characters, the settings, and the events. Okay, so for example, in No Ordinary Soldier we have Gita, okay, and Gita's father is in the army. So maybe you have a friend, okay, whose father is in the army, or your father could also be in the army. So that is how we are making connections, okay. So this is all about realistic fiction, okay. We will be discussing a little bit more about it in our next slide. So a good realistic fiction story, okay, it should have these points, okay. When you're writing a realistic fiction story, it should have these points. The first one, okay, it is that it is made up by the writer. So I've already told you, okay, that the story should be made up. It should not be a true story, it should be made up, okay. It is a fiction story. Remember, the word fiction over here means made up, okay. It includes characters who think and act like people okay. Like for example, I've given you the example of Gita's father. He's in the army, okay. So you may also have a friend whose father is in the army. Gita feels very sad, okay, when her father goes away. So you may also feel very sad if your parents leave for a different place, okay, or your father or mother is posted out of station for a long time. So this is what we call making connections, okay. It includes characters who face a problem. So over here, okay, Gita is very sad that her father has gone to another place, okay. So could also be a problem. You may also face a similar problem when your parents are not at home with you, okay. And it includes a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now most stories, okay, I have already told you, we have even discussed this in grade 4, okay, that stories have a beginning, middle, and an end, okay. The beginning, okay, is where the characters, okay, the setting is introduced and the main action happens, okay. The middle is where all the events take place, okay, following the main action. And the end, okay, is where the solution, okay, is solved. The middle will have the problem and the end will have the solution, okay. The characters also change in the end, okay. So if you remember the golden goose, you should remember what we mean by beginning, middle, and end, okay. Then it includes events that are told in order, okay. Remember, the story will not be jumbled up, it will always be in order, okay. And in the events, okay, in the sequence the events happened. So includes events that are told in order they happened, okay. So it will always be in order, okay. And then there will be a real place, okay. The setting will be a real place, okay, and it will take place in modern time. So you will be able to connect with the setting and also the time. Clear? Now let's look at this next slide, okay. These are some movies, okay, which I'm sure you all have heard about, or I'm sure you must have even watched these movies. This is Night at the Museum, okay. It's about this man who is the janitor, okay, the night guard, and he takes up a job at this museum, okay, and everything becomes alive in the museum at night, okay. So I'm sure you remember, right? All the artifacts in the museum, they become alive at night and they have an exciting adventure. Then we have San Andreas, where there is an earthquake, okay, and he tries to save his family. We have Jaws, okay, where there is a shark and people are being eaten up. We have Titanic, the love story of Kate and Leo, okay. We have Despicable Me, about minions, and we have got Me Before You, okay, where this man is actually a paralytic, okay. He's fully paralyzed and this lady is his nurse, and finally they fall in love. So when you look at these 6 movies, I want you to tell me which ones are realistic fiction and which ones are just fiction. Okay, so this is actually your homework for today. You need to name the pictures that come under realistic fiction. Okay, so you need to write that down in your notebook, and you need to click it and you need to send it to me when you are free. Okay, now let's talk about making connections, how we make connections with the characters in a story. Okay, so we will first talk about first character, that is Geeta. Geeta's father is in the army. Okay, now when I tell you that Geeta's father is in the army, how can you make connection with your daily life? Do you know anybody whose father is in the army? Or it could be maybe your father is in the army. Okay, so you can think about that answer. Okay, so in making connections, you can say even my father is in the army, or maybe my friend's father works in the army. Okay, then she misses him terribly. Now we already know, okay, that when a person works in a different place, the family members tend to miss them a lot, and even they miss the family members. So you can say, I miss my father terribly. Okay, if your father is in a different place, he may not be an army officer, maybe he works because of business. Okay, and you can also, if you know any friend whose father is away or whose mother is away, okay, you can also make connections in the same way. Okay, you can also say that I have seen movies, okay, which have the same kind of situation. This is all making connections. Okay, then over here we have Lieutenant Colonel Sanjay Singh. Okay, so the lieutenant, he is in the army. Okay, we already know he's in the army. So maybe you know a man who is in the army. Okay, he is always away from home. Do you know somebody who fits this situation? He misses his daughter terribly again, and he gives her a toy soldier to remember him. Okay, now how can I fit a connection over here? So maybe, okay, if you do not have area or you do not know anybody, maybe you have seen in the movies. Okay, like I'm sure we all have seen a lot of movies about a war and the army, right? So maybe in the movies, okay, you have seen how the soldiers miss their families, right? I'm sure you all have seen a lot of war movies, and we see that the soldiers, they miss their families. Okay, and it's very famous. Okay, or it's very popular where when your dad maybe comes back, okay, or before your dad goes for a holiday or for a war, okay, he may give you a gift to remember him, right? Okay, so maybe your father, if he is away, okay, has he given you anything to remember him? Or if you have a friend whose father is away, okay, has he given her anything, right? Or maybe you have seen in the movies that a soldier giving his beloved or his daughter something. Okay, so this is making connections. Okay, you need to make connections. So we have talked about characters, and we will talk about the setting and the events. Okay, now we know that Geeta's father, okay, the lieutenant, he lives in a bunker in a valley. Now we all know what is a valley, and we all know what is a bunker. Okay, so you can also say like my friend's father, okay, works in the army. He's posted in Kashmir, and he also lives in a valley. Okay, or you can always say that you have seen in the movies, okay, or you have read in the books how, okay, soldiers, okay, are they live in bunkers, okay, and they are also posted in hilly regions. Okay, events. Now we know that he was kind and brave, and we know that he caught many enemy soldiers. Okay, so how do you connect to this? So you can also say that you can make a connection by saying that maybe you have read in newspapers how army, okay, they keep on catching criminals, or they catch enemy soldiers, right? We have also watched in movies how our Indian army captures the enemy soldiers, right? And if you talk about something very recent, okay, the Indo Chinese war, which is going on right now, okay, so over there also you can say something, you can mention something about them, okay, or you can also mention about the Indo-Pakistan war, okay, where our Indian soldiers are fighting, okay, in Kashmir with the enemies. So it's very easy to make connections. Clear? So remember, when you make connections, you tend to understand the lesson better, okay, you remember it better, right? And it becomes more fun, okay, because you have somebody who you can connect the whole story with. Okay, so this is your topic for today. I hope you understood it. Remember what I have given you as your homework. Okay, what are your favorite movies and television shows? Okay, you can, if you do not want to mention these, you can even mention some other ones to me. There is no problem, but I want you to tell me, okay, from these 6 shows, okay, which are, okay, realistic fiction. Remember, which are realistic fiction means they need to be made up, and you need to relate with them. Okay, so I'll give you an example of one. For example, Night at the Museum. Okay, now over here we know he's a janitor. Okay, so maybe one of our relatives or parents could also be a night guard. Okay, but over here the artifacts that are in the museum, they come to life. Okay, they become alive. Now, can that happen in real life? I'm going to the museum in Kohima and suddenly can all the artifacts come to life? No, that's not possible, right? So this is not realistic fiction. Okay, but for example, let's look at San Andreas. Okay, over here we have this man, okay, who is a pilot. Okay, and there is a sudden earthquake and he is going to save his family. Okay, to make it very, very simple. Now, can an earthquake happen? Yes, it can, right? And I think if something like this happens, our parents would also be looking for us in case we are lost. So you can say this comes under realistic fiction. So I want you to look at Jaws, Titanic, Despicable Me, and Me Before You, okay, and tell me which ones come under realistic fiction and which ones do not. Okay, so you can write it in a piece of paper, or you can just type it, and you can type it in your chat of WhatsApp, and you can just WhatsApp me the answer. Okay, so that's all for today. In case you have any doubt, feel free to give me a call or to message me. Okay, have a fantastic day ahead. Bye bye.